Have you ever been at a social gathering, maybe a party, a wedding, or just a busy coffee shop, and suddenly the sound starts to fade? You see people laughing, clinking glasses, and nodding their heads. But to you, it feels like you're watching a movie with the volume turned off. You find yourself noticing the smallest things. The way a friend's smile doesn't quite reach their eyes, the forced rhythm of a stranger's laughter, or the subtle tension in the room that no one else seems to feel. You aren't socially awkward. You aren't broken. And you aren't just shy. Psychology suggests you might be operating with a high-resolution brain. While most of the world is processing life in standard definition, focusing only on what is said, you're seeing the subtext, the patterns, and the hidden architecture of human behavior. But there's a catch. The higher the resolution, the harder it is to fit into the frame. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Hidden Brain. Today, we're peeling back the layers of the most misunderstood personality type in modern society, the silent observer. We're going to explore why your deep mind makes small talk feel like physical pain, and why your loneliness is actually a sign of a highly evolved internal system. Let's start with the most common symptom, the hatred of small talk. In the United States, small talk is the social lubricant. We ask how you are without wanting an answer. We talk about the weather to fill the silence. For most people, this is easy. But for a high-resolution brain, this feels like trying to run high-end software on a 1990s computer. It crashes the system. Why? Because your brain is a pattern recognition machine. When someone says, "I'm fine, how are you?" your brain doesn't just hear the words. It processes the micro-expression on their face, the pitch of their voice, and the fact that they're avoiding eye contact. You see a low-resolution lie. Because your mind is built for depth, shallow data feels like a waste of energy. Psychologists call this cognitive decoupling. It's the ability to separate what is being said from what is actually happening. If you have this trait, you aren't being judgmental. You're simply unable to ignore the truth. And when you see the truth while everyone else is playing a character, it's only natural to feel like an outsider. Imagine walking through a forest. Most people see trees. A high-resolution brain sees the root systems, the fungal networks, the way the wind indicates a coming storm, and the specific species of every bird. Now, apply that to a crowded room. While others are enjoying the vibe, you're subconsciously mapping the room. You notice who is dominant, who is uncomfortable, and who is pretending to be someone they aren't. This is often linked to a psychological phenomenon called hypervigilance, but in a healthy deep mind, it's actually a form of enhanced latent inhibition. Most brains have a filter that blocks out irrelevant information, like the sound of the air conditioner or the way someone is tapping their foot. But your filter is thin. You take in everything. This is why you feel exhausted after just 1 hour of socializing. Your CPU is running at 100% capacity just to process a simple conversation. In a world that values loud and fast, your deep and slow processing speed is often mistaken for being slow or uninterested. But the reality is the exact opposite. You are taking in more data than anyone else in the room. We've all heard the terms introvert and extrovert, but for the high-resolution brain, these labels don't quite fit. You might love people. You might crave deep connection. So why does your social battery drain so fast? It's not because you hate people. It's because you are overstimulated by subtext. Think of it like video quality. Streaming a movie in 480p takes very little data. But streaming in 4K, high resolution, requires a massive amount of bandwidth. When you interact with someone, you aren't just listening. You are analyzing their psychology, empathizing with their unsaid pain, and calculating the best way to respond. This leads to what psychologists call the empathy paradox. You feel so much for other people that you have it attached just to survive the day. People might call you cold or stoic or hard to read, but inside, you are a hurricane of feeling. You stay quiet not because you have nothing to say, but because you have too much to say and you know that the standard definition people around you wouldn't understand complexity of it anyway. Now, let's talk about the loneliness. In America, we are taught that more friends equals more happiness. We are a culture of networking and community. So, when you prefer your own company, or when you feel alone even when you are with friends, the system tells you that you are failing. But here's a hidden brain truth. Loneliness is a tax you pay for vision. When you see the world in high resolution, you see the cracks in the system. You see the vanity, the corporate manipulation, and the shallow scripts people follow to feel safe. This creates a gap between you and the normal world. There is a psychological state called existential isolation. It's the realization that no matter how much we talk, no one can ever truly see the world exactly the way we do. For most, this thought is terrifying. But for the high-resolution brain, it is the beginning of freedom. You stop trying to fit into the small boxes society created. You realize that your loneliness isn't a hole that needs to be filled with more standard definition friends. It's a space, a gallery, where you can build a rich, complex internal life that most people can't even imagine. So, how do you live in a world that wasn't built for your resolution? First, stop apologizing for your silence. Your silence isn't a void. It's a workspace. When you are quiet in a meeting or a party, you aren't missing out. You are taking it in. Second, find your high-res tribe. You don't need 100 acquaintances. You need 2 people who speak your language, people who don't need small talk to feel comfortable. Third, embrace the observer advantage. In business, in art, and in relationships, the person who sees the patterns wins. Because you notice the hidden systems of the world, you are capable of solving problems that others don't even know exist. Your alienation is actually your edge. The next time you feel like an outsider looking in, remember this. The person standing in the middle of the dance floor only sees the dance. But the person standing on the edge sees the whole room. If you spend your life feeling like you're too much and not enough at the same time, you finally found where you belong. If this video resonated with you, I want you to do something. Don't just like the video. Go to the comments and simply type the word observer. It's a way for all of us with high-resolution brains to see each other in the crowd. And if you want to understand the hidden systems that control our world, make sure to subscribe. We're just getting started. I'm Hidden Brain, and I'll see you in the next deep dive.